Jackson here with head men's basketball coach Jeremy Luther to talk about the Pirate men's basketball team in the Coach's Corner. Armstrong has been very successful at home, Coach Luther, winning 4 straight. Road's been a little bit different story. Let's talk about the last 4 games of action, beginning with that road trip to Columbus and to Georgia Southwestern.
Yes, that's not a road trip we want to remember. But it's something that this league has shown itself to be capable of. It's tough to win on the road. And so we go over to Columbus and Southwestern. Going into those 2 games, I thought we matched up fairly well with both. Both those teams were coming off bad losses the weekend prior to us coming over there, and I guess their coaches got them fired up and had a week to prepare for us coming in. We played on that Monday, so we had a short couple days to prep for Columbus, and it didn't go so well. Columbus was very big and very physical and held us to a season low 46 points. And we've been scoring 46 points in a half going in with being, averaging over 90 points a game. And they did a really good job being physical, pushing us around, using their size, keeping us from running. Obviously, when you don't make shots, it's tough. And if you can't get stops, it's also tough to run. But Columbus did a very good job and kind of put us into a tailspin last Thursday. And we had 1 day to prepare for Georgia Southwestern, and Georgia Southwestern is as talented a team as you're going to see in the country. It's big, and it's physical, and strong, and it's athletic. They hadn't played a home game yet in the conference, and they got us where it was a much more competitive game than was Thursday. It was a 5-point game at the half, and then it was 2-5, 2-5 up until about the 12-minute mark. They went on a 12 or 15-0 run on us and put it out to 15 or 16, and we kept it right there until the end. So didn't go well for us on the road, and it hasn't gone well for a lot of teams on the road this year in the Peach Belt. So we had to lick our wounds a little bit, take a rest on Sunday, and we had 3 days to prep for a nationally ranked Montevallo coming in here, who was 13-3, had some really good wins, very talented group of players. They were 4-1 in first place on the West, and going into the game, I didn't quite know how things were going to go. It's either going to, we stand our ground and keep in the hunt, or we feel sorry for ourselves and drop further back. And our kids did a great job, one of our better performances of the year. We came out, defended extremely well, made some shots, and we were able to come away with a great victory against Montevallo on Thursday, where we had some good individual performances out of Michael Horn, had his career high, I think 29 points, and Chris Vanlandingham had 24 points. And Devon Jones and Keyshore did a great job defensively, flying around making plays for us. So that was a big win, one of the better wins of the year. Another signature win for us this year. Then 1 day to prepare for even just as talented team, Clayton State. Gordon does a great job. He has a lot of Division I transfers, athletic kids. And they came in here and on Saturday, and again, we did a great job defensively, held them to 55 points. We only scored 62, but all we had to do is score 56 and we got a win. So we scored 62, got 2 big wins for us, and got some confidence back into our guys. We're right there in the mix, back to 500. I think the whole league is flirting, besides Aiken and Pembroke, everybody's flirting around that 500 mark anyway. So
that's what my next question was going to be: how wide open it seems like the Peach Belt is this year on the men's side. Every year, the last 3, 4, 5 years, there's always been 1 team or 2 teams that you knew were the cream of the crop, but this year it is as wide open as I've ever seen it.
Oh yeah, we were even last year. The difference between the 3rd and the 10th place team was a game, at most 2 games. And this year it's the same way. You have Aiken, who's kind of stepped out at 7-1, but everybody else, the other 12 teams are all within a game of each other. We're at 5-5 right now. In the win column, we're 2 games out of first. In the win column, we're 1 game out of second, because we've played so many more games than everybody else. So, you got some teams with 6 wins. We've got 5 wins. I think, everybody's 5-3 or 5-4 or 5-5, all up and down, both the East and the West. So it's all about these last 8 games. It's so close. I was talking with Gordon Gibbons before our game game on Saturday, and he even said, Jeremy, I don't know how this is going to shake out. I'm not surprised by anybody winning or anybody losing right now. So if it ends up like last year, it comes down to the last game of the year, or my first 2 years has come down to the last game of the year. You're in and 2 people get knocked out, or you're out and 2 other people get in. That's the way it's going to be. So this week, we have an easier week as far as games. We only play on Wednesday, and that's at North Georgia, who's started off the season pretty well, have stumbled here of late, but going up there to Delanga, that's a tough place to play. They get a great crowd in there with all the cadets. Last year they were standing room only, and they got the St. Bernard dog out there on the side of the floor, and guys stumbling over that. But it's going to be a tough place to play. It's going to be a win that we have to get on the road. Whereas before last week, and I thought we were a pretty good road team with beating Augusta and playing Florida Southern tough and beating Minnesota and beating Wingate. I thought, hey, we're going to be a pretty good road team. But last week showed that we can't, get complacent and think that teams are just going to lay down for. So on Wednesday, if we can go up there and play like we've been playing these last couple games, even Georgia Southwestern for 30 minutes, if we can do that, I think we'll fare pretty well.
All right, let's go back to Thursday just for a moment. Against Montevallo, senior Chris Vanlandingham reaches 1,000 career points. He's the 18th player in Armstrong history to reach that, but he's really only the 5th player in the last decade to do that. It's something that I think in the early stages of college basketball was more a common occurrence than it is in this day and age.
Right, especially in our league. Our league is such a transfer-oriented league, with kids coming in for 2 years. I mean, this year there's a ton of one-year kids. Just trying to keep up with the Joneses. You don't get that 4-year kid, and Chris is a 4-year kid, and since the day I got the job, he has come into my office and he has done whatever it takes to buy in, and that's what you need. We weren't left with very much in my first year. I knew we weren't going to be very good. And Chris, surprisingly enough, he played the 4-man for us. Mm-hmm. He wants to say he's 6'4", but he's more like 6'2.5", playing the 4-man. And that's what he could do to get in the mix with our team. That's what he did. And then we got some recruiting done, and we could slide him out to his normal position these last 2 years. And he's done a really good job. He is a solid Peach Belt player. He's going to be at the top of the league in scoring in a lot of different statistical categories. I mean, shoot, his pride right now is he's 4th in the league in assists. Mm-hmm. He's leading our team in assists. So Chris knows what he needs to do to make our team successful, and he's bought in 100%.
All right, Armstrong will visit North Georgia on Wednesday, last game against the Western Division, and then the Pirates will be back in action at home on February 4th against USC Aiken, as the month of February is all South Division action. A reminder, you can follow all the Pirates action on ustream.tv/Armstrong Pirates. Coach Luther, good luck this week. Talk to you again soon.